See, I think I was a very well-behaved teenager. I didn't do things like hoodies or anything like that. I didn't do...
No, I didn't.
I was very conventional.
Yes.
Boring, you could say.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Well, much like a pair of jeans and a white T-shirt, hoodies are a staple item to have in your wardrobe, some might say. But should they be banned?
Oddly enough, I don't have a hoodie.
Not a single hoodie?
Not a single hoodie.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. But just interesting.
I'm going to get one.
So we go to Romford in East London, and it has outlawed hoodies from the town centre, and this is to bring down antisocial behaviour after almost 10,000 incidents of antisocial behaviour were recorded last year.
What, were they by people in hoodies?
Well, you see, this is my point. Is this 10,000 hoodie crimes?
Exactly.
But anyway, hoodies
We're supposed to have a hoodie, aren't we? Or is this all a bit over the top? Let's get into this with broadcaster Claire Muldoon. She thinks hoodies invoke fear in the public, whilst former detective Maggie Oliver says there's no evidence that hoodies mean more crime.
There may be no evidence, Miss Maggie, but they do create an illusion that somebody's hiding their face, they're up to no good, they could be thuggish. Would you accept that?
You know, first of all, apologies for my voice. I've got a sore throat, but I'm still here.
You look so wonderful, but you're feeling ill.
I would say that there are lots of things that people don't like, but when it comes to policing, which is in crisis, last week I saw headlines that police were no longer going to deal with children who were missing from care homes, not treat them as high priority because they don't have enough resources. So my point on this is, you know, policing is in crisis. The courts have got 5-year waits for trials. The police have got much better things to do than to go out stopping children who are wearing hoodies. You know, my grandsons wear hoodies. It doesn't make them a criminal. We already have laws in place.
We're literally going to have the clothes
behaviour.
police out there. If you're going to have the clothes police.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, though. You know, people do things that we don't always agree with. But are we becoming a country where just because somebody doesn't like something, we invoke the law and the courts and the criminal justice system? Hoodies, yeah, there are people who will use hoods and masks to conceal their identity. I've been in the police and I've seen it. But if they're doing something wrong, we have stop and search. We can stop them. We can approach them. This is a sledgehammer to crack a nut, in my opinion.
Well, it's not really about that, Maggie, I don't think. And Romford took this decision in April of this year. And whilst I think, yes, it's intimidating when youngsters are wearing hoodies, especially with the hoodies up, there's not a fashion police statement here. They're not saying, don't wear the hoodie or we'll do you. What the councils are trying to do is go back to first principles, I would say, and actually dealing with antisocial behaviour. Romford is, out of 99 UK postcodes, the statistics are 2nd for vehicle crimes, 7th for drug offences and 12th for robbery. Now, they're not saying if you walk around the high street in this inclement weather, don't put your hood up. What they're saying is when you're in shops, remove all helmets. This includes delivery drivers too. Remove all masks unless they're COVID related and remove your hood. Now, we are perhaps the most surveillanced society ever now. And whilst the policing is on its knees, both in the Metropolitan Police and indeed all over the UK, the police resources are stretched because of infrastructure. They don't have any in order to recruit them, so we don't have enough of them. And what we're finding is crime is on the increase. And this is back to first principles. And what they're saying is, little by little, this is a little step, remove the hood and let us see your face. And that will then make people feel safer. And I, for one, if one person feels safer because of this, I actually think it's worth holding on to and worth spreading out.
Maggie, we've all been in those situations, haven't we? I don't know if you can think about it in your non-sort of detective mode, a sort of granny mode, when you are walking down the street in the middle of the day, perhaps a warm day, and you think, why is that person, A, wearing a hoodie, it's warm, and B, why is their hoodie up, covering their face? You instantly just think they're up to no good, don't you? It can make you feel very uncomfortable as a passerby.
Yeah, but my argument, Isabel, is that the police are not coping with the work that they do have So this is not a policing matter, in my opinion. And whilst I agree that crime is on the increase, it is not down to hoodies. It is down to a lack of policing, and they have to prioritise the work that they do. And this is a distraction from the real work. You know, I've recently had a colleague who was burgled. The response from the police was completely inadequate because they don't have the resources, they don't have the numbers. So to distract them with this kind of incident, we're becoming a society that is only policing the low hanging fruit, and the serious criminals are being allowed to. Actually, crime pays because it is highly unlikely they will be caught. This is just a distraction from the really important work that police should be doing. This could be dealt with by security within the mile. If somebody is looking intimidating, they have got their own. There are systems in place to exclude them from those places. We do not need to involve policing.
It is the security guards, Maggie, that will be enforcing that. A bit like litter louts. If you put a cigarette out in the street, you'll be done if you're caught. It's that kind of thing. They're not asking the police to police them. It's a local authority exercise to try and decrease the low-level crime that can actually escalate into higher crime and higher response times for police. We know that shops now integrate in their pricing policy to actually mitigate the fact that lots of things are stolen. We are paying for that. We are paying for that, and I, for one, don't want to pay for that. And if we can possibly nip it in the bud, even if it's a small, small step, then I think it's a step that's worth taking.
And just final point, Maggie, your experience there as a police officer, you're bringing to bear, also your just experience as a human being. You don't think these should be banned, but yet this was the police in conjunction with the local authority that agreed to this or asked for this to be done. So there's obviously other professionals in your previous field that don't agree with you on this.
Of course there will be. That's what freedom of speech is all about, Eamon. But I do believe that we do not have the resources to deal with this. When we've got the police saying that they can no longer attend incidents where there are mental health issues. I'm dealing with sexual abuse cases every day where they're very lucky to get an investigation, never mind a trial within 3 years. This is just a distraction from what the policing should be about. And whilst, yes, the security might initially approach these youths, when they kick off who is going to be called, it is going to be police officers. And I believe that prioritising what police deal with is now critical with the restriction on numbers, with the lack of training, with the lack of experienced detectives. We need to be focusing on what the police have to do, not what might be a little bit easier. I think there's far better ways to deal with crime in shopping centres than targeting kids who might be
Maggie,
wearing
got to leave it there.
And that is my personal opinion.
Thank you very much. Maggie Oliver is a former police detective. Claire Muldoon is a broadcaster who does not wear a hoodie.